Hello and welcome to Blythe Business News. We're joined today by Keith Coughlan, Managing Director of European Metals. European Metals listed on the AIM market and on the ASX market in Australia with the ticker of EMH. Market capitalisation in London currently around £16 million sterling. Keith, welcome to Blythe Business News. For starters, just
Thank you, Tim.
Give us a quick intro, quick overview to European Metals, please.
Certainly, Tim. Well, European Metals has been developing the lithium project Synovitz in the Czech Republic since early 2014. As you say, we're listed in both Australia and on AIM. We're actually listed in Germany as well. And we've just concluded a deal. The shareholders have just voted on it today. That sees the Czech government via the agency of the Czech power utility become our partner in the development of the project.
So this is a lithium project in the Czech Republic. Give us a sense of scale. I mean, lithium is one of those very exciting metals at the moment with electric vehicles. It's in there with copper and nickel and all the other things we need for electric vehicles and their batteries. What's the scale of this? Is it a large deposit, a medium-sized deposit?
So Synovitz is the largest hard rock lithium resource in Europe. It's about the fourth largest hard rock lithium resource in the world. The amount of lithium in the deposit proven to this point is about 7 million tonnes LCE, lithium carbonate equivalent, which makes it a very large deposit. The most recent study we've done on the project over a mine life of 21 years only accounts for somewhere between 5 and 10% of the overall resource.
Wow. So CEZ have come in, you just said, that's great news. Can you explain for the viewers what CEZ are going to do and how that's going to help move the project forwards, please?
Certainly. So as I mentioned, CEZ is the power utility in the Czech Republic. They have historically been involved in the mining of brown coal, the generation of power through that coal, the distribution of that through the network in the Czech Republic and surrounding countries. So they, like many companies in this part of the world, are moving away from coal, moving towards more environmentally friendly power sources, renewable energy and what have you. CEZ have ambitions to be involved in the building of a battery factory within the Czech Republic. They have ambitions to be involved in building charging stations for electric vehicles within the Czech Republic. And so their future plans sit very nicely with being involved in the development of Europe's largest lithium resource.
And I suppose we're all getting a bit concerned these days about having access within our own economic region to battery materials, looking at what's happening in China, and they're being very protective of their natural resources. So having in the Czech Republic, in the heart of Europe, you producing the lithium, CEZ then turning it into batteries, that says that Europe's going to have some degree of control over its lithium supply, I suppose.
It is actually very important, Tim. You know, I live here in Western Australia. Western Australia is now the largest producer of lithium ore in the world. And the vast majority of that goes to China. It's turned into lithium compounds, hydroxide carbonate in China, but none of it leaves China after that. So you're right, they are very protective of their EV industry. So that's one consideration. The other consideration is obviously what we've seen happening in the world in the last few months. It has very much highlighted the importance of the security of local supply chains.
Yeah, sure. Now, just give us a bit of background, Keith, if you will. We know that lithium can come from brines. In Australia, there are many spodumene projects. How is European Metals project different? And, dare we say, how is it better?
Well, it's a hard rock deposit, so not like the brines of South America at all. It's more like the hard rock lithium deposits in Western Australia, but with a slight difference in that the host rock that hosts the lithium is different. They're all spodumene deposits, or the majority of them are spodumene deposits in Western Australia. At the end of the day, the end product is no different. You need to be able to produce battery-grade material, be it carbonate or hydroxide. There's a slight difference with the host rock as to what other minerals you might get in that concentrate, but being able to produce to battery grade specifications means that the parts per million of those other elements in the end product is below certain tolerances. And we've happily demonstrated that we are able to do so. Our business plan is slightly different to the Western Australian spodumene concentrate producers in that we are going within our own process to end product. So as I mentioned, they produce a concentrate which is shipped to China. The value add is there in China and it's turned into battery grade material in that country, whereas we will go the whole process and produce battery grade material within the Czech Republic.
So you produce in the Czech Republic. Some you may well sell within the Czech Republic to your partner CEZ for their own batteries. Where else are you looking to sell the lithium? I mean, presumably you're on the doorstep of Germany and its car industry, so that must be a market for you, I guess.
Absolutely. Look, we have no barriers as to where we could sell our end product, but it makes significant sense both from our perspective and also from the perspective of the EU for us to be selling our material within the EU. There's a very, very significant push in that part of the world to develop a European battery industry. There's a lot of financial support behind the development of that industry and political support as well. And it would make a great deal of sense for us to be selling our product to battery manufacturers and or car manufacturers, electric vehicle manufacturers within the EU. You know, within about 500 miles of our project, there's approximately 6 million vehicles made every year. And obviously every year more and more of those vehicles are being made electric. So we believe we'll have a very ready market for our end product.
Right place at the right time.
Let's hope so.
So just talk us through, Keith, what's, for the rest of 2020, what are the milestones we're looking to achieve at European Metals? What can shareholders expect to see? And give us, if you can, an overview of the timeline to production as and when that's going to be possible.
Certainly. So as I mentioned earlier, we've had an extraordinary general meeting today and the deal with CHES is now unconditional. That deal should settle on Monday of next week and the project is fully funded at that point through to the decision to construct. So that's a very, very good achievement. We will crack on immediately at that point with our definitive feasibility study and FEED study, which is the front end engineering and design study. The consultants who we believe will undertake that work have been prepped to do this for some months now. So there should be no delay in beginning that process and getting underway as soon as possible. From the point of view of our shareholders, the shareholders of European Metals, seeing those developments come to fruition and announced, I think is very important to know and have the confidence that the project is moving ahead with that speed. What I think it will do then is allow us to significantly upscale the level of discussions that we've been having with regards to offtake, with regards to funding alternatives moving forward, potential grant monies via the EU. As I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of money being set aside within the EU for the development of a battery industry and the constituent parts of that, raw materials clearly being one. So I believe that having a partner of the ilk of CHES just gives us a greater degree of certainty to be having those discussions. And I think the people we're now talking to are of a high level of confidence that the project will proceed and will go into production. And obviously, given the uncertainty of the world currently, the same can't be said for a lot of juniors developing large-scale mining assets. So that's very important to us. And I think that it will be shown to the shareholders in terms of the development of the studies, the discussions with off-takers and EU grant monies, and just moving the project further up the curve of certainty towards production. In terms of timeline, the real ramp up for the production of EVs in Europe seems to be in the 2024 to 2025 area. Certainly if you look at Volkswagen's plans, that's where they will have a significant upward shift in the number of EVs that they plan to be manufacturing, and we will come in a little ahead of that time frame, I believe, all things being equal, with regards to getting production.
Keith, thank you very much. So that's been Keith Coughlan, Managing Director of European Metals, sounding very positive about Europe's largest hard rock lithium deposit, producing not too far away now for sale of lithium into battery producers with CEZ in the Czech Republic, and well placed to be selling lithium into the emerging markets in Europe, of Germany and elsewhere, as they produce their EVs. So I said at the start, European Metals listed in London and in Australia with the ticker EMH. Thank you very much. That's it from Blythe Business News.